Anyway, we haven't talked about playing Assassin's Creed actually, because we talked about it in our preview. We haven't talked about it since we did. Since the
I haven't
reviews dropped.
watched any of your. I don't know what any of you think about this game.
Well,
you
Lucy,
can probably guess, Luce.
know that we are.
Oh no, actually, I do know. I do know what Jake feels about it.
We are the ones who
the dissenting opinion
are not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it just didn't. It didn't hit with me. I know I am like not the target audience at this point. I am like a professional complainer of Assassin's Creed. I've been doing it for a long time, but it's because I'm very passionate about the series, and it's never been a perfect series. And I've liked some of the newer RPG style ones, but
Black Flag was pretty perfect.
Black Flag
pretty perfect.
All right, I'll give you that. I'm trying to be like,
Syndicate. I will wave the flag for Syndicate. I love it.
You should.
Yeah, I know I would.
What is it?
But also, because it's British.
Because it's British and shit. Yeah.
But also, there's did I even tell you guys about the Jack the Ripper museum that I went to in London?
No, what the fuck?
So, slight tangent, because Syndicate had Jack the Ripper DLC, which was actually like pretty great.
Yeah.
What? Did they have DLC where people got murdered?
You were investigating Jack the Ripper.
A lot of people die. Cool. Alana, I'm going to sit down when I say it's a lot of people die in Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
To be clear, I wanted to specify the kind of people who got murdered, but I didn't know what word to use. Okay? So I just went with people. Right. You understand what I'm saying?
I see what you're
people, yeah.
That is what you're saying.
But, so I went, when I was in London last, I was with my, a friend and we were like, oh, hey, what should we do? We're in London. You're American. Let's go hang out somewhere and do something really British. So we went to the Jack the Ripper Museum, which was basically like someone's house that they had turned into this museum. I think my favorite thing that they did was they printed a copy of the From Hell letter and tea-stained it and then burned the edges to make it look legit.
Like
and they also had
a great art project.
They also had they had a little glass cabinet full of the policeman who discovered one of the bodies may have used. And there were like 3 whistles in this cabinet. And I was like, well, which one was it? And then they also had a makeshift morgue in the basement, which I don't think was very tasteful. I'm just going to put it out there. Anyway, Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
I really wish you had photos of that you could share with us, please. If there are photos of that, please find them and put them in the newsletter, okay?
I will put them in the newsletter.
All right, do that.
Let me make a note.
Good reason.
No one write newsletter. No,
just because Assassin's Creed Syndicate was mentioned.
Yeah.
So with Shadows, I called it. Like when I put out my video, I was like, a lot of people I think are gonna like this. Like if you liked Valhalla, if you fucking love Valhalla and 200% of that, this is like an improvement in a lot of ways.
For sure.
It tries to focus more on storytelling, even if it doesn't land. At all. The stealth is better. It's not 250 hours long.
Oh, how long is it? Because I'm like 10 hours in.
40 hours.
Yeah.
40 hours with like moderate sort of deviations to side content and rolling the final credits.
So that's like Origin side, right?
Yes, exactly.
Roughly. Yeah.
The things I will say I like about it is that I like the world. It's very detailed.
Beautiful.
It's very cool. It's beautiful. The seasons changing is very impressive technically, but also.
But fuck how you can't change the seasons whenever you want. It has to be a certain level of full. And then if you don't have any scouts, you can't change the seasons to get them. So you're just wandering around until the season changes.
Just like the real world.
Just like the real world. You can't change the seasons.
But it's also a mechanic and it's on the menu every time you go to the map where it says
right there,
hold to change seasons.
Yep.
Just kidding.
Yep. But, having less grass to hide in the dead of winter and, the snow slowing you down a little bit is cool. And I also like the stealth. It's not complex, but in terms of the last couple of Assassin's Creed games, there's quite a bit more to do. There's more ways to hide. You're still ultimately hiding in a bush and whistling, and a guy goes, huh? And you
But now you can lie flat in that bush.
Yeah, now there's a little bit more stuff you could do. I wish lying flat and going prone was like a little bit more taken advantage of.
I've been using it to go under buildings and pop out from the floor a lot.
You can do that,
which is quite fun.
There's a lot of like interesting interior stuff that I found, like the camera really frustrating and the controls really frustrating inside.
Yeah.
But there's so much they tried with like your grappling hook to hide on the ceiling, floors, like ninja-proof floors that if you step on it, it alerts enemies. Cool little things like that like they were trying to like, evolve things a little bit where it didn't
Stabbing
evolve.
someone through the door is very satisfying.
Very cool. Yeah.
Very good.
Very cool. But like all that stuff to me didn't negate the fact that like I didn't really care about the story. And I just was pretty bored after a while with like the encounters and the kind of rinse and repeat of it all. And really the game's resistance to putting up any sort of walls or anything like it with the player, like challenging them in different ways. It's kind of throughout the entire game. It was just kind of like, you're ultimately kind of doing the same thing, side quests and main quests. And honestly, I think they did Yasuke dirty. I think his story was the more interesting one.
Absolutely.
But it took a while to get to. And then, all the cool stuff in the game, in my opinion, is buried behind hours and hours and hours of stuff that kind of bored
Impossible
me.
to give a shit about.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree
I will
with that.
say, so I started playing it, was enjoying it. I was enjoying the fact that it felt like they were really trying more with story and like being more cinematic. And there are some scenes that are absolutely gorgeous.
Some scenes
and
look
like
cool as hell.
Yeah, like very filmic, very cinematic. And there was a moment where you first decide that you're going to take out all these people, and it takes you to this white menu screen, and then the circle appears, and all the 13 of them who you have to kill appear. And then it zooms out, and another menu comes up.
Circles
and
for
then
everything.
Another circle comes up. And I shit you not, I made the noise that Sideshow Bob makes when he stands on a rake every single time a new piece of bullshit popped up on my screen, because I was like, you almost had me.
I want to hear this. I want to hear the Sideshow Bob sound, by the way.
Yeah, please recreate it.
Not bad. Not bad. I was expecting much worse, to be honest.
I just think it's neat. Anyway.
I think your Sideshow Bob is much better than your Marge. Okay?
Yeah, I'm going to on the Marge. But no, I also agree with you in the fact that they're sanding down the edges on making it challenging in any way. And I feel like, but then there's kind of the other side of that is that it feels kind of comforting because you know exactly how encounters are going to go, and it just feels like something you can just slip into like a one bath.
And they're never hard games.
Yeah.
No.
The expert difficulty is very hard, though.
I've heard
Do we
that.
have a gamer in our midst?
I've
You play on
played it a
expert?
little
No,
bit,
mostly playing
but-
on normal, but I tried expert just because I heard people talking about it being hard, and it is a different video game.
Ooh, maybe
Like-
I'll try that.
If you run, you'll be caught at all. Like it is the expert difficulty. Again, I played very little of it because I just wanted to try it. So I played like the first 2 tutorials, which by the way, the tutorials in this game are not very good. But yeah, the first part of that, like you will like fail almost immediately. Like it is so much harder that it totally would play differently. Like if the encounters are rinse and repeat, like you're saying, Jake, like I have not played enough that I feel like I have an opinion yet. Most of my opinion, devastatingly at this point, is maybe I should replay Ghost of Tsushima, which is a real bummer.
Damn.
But that is, I just keep thinking that.
Yeah.
But
So true.
I feel like if you were to, even if you have the same encounters or the AI is doing the same thing, even if the difficulty's harder, they're probably still going to feel the same once you learn the tricks of the trade, right?
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah,
You know the other thing that's weird about it, when you're in the open world and you're on the horse, like
that fucking horse.
7 out of 10, 7 times that fucking horse.
That motherfucking
Why
horse.
is he coming in at
fucking horse.
70 miles an hour every single time?
He'll
but
pick
also,
you
like,
up and then turn around.
Yeah. But like every
so
time
much.
I'm riding somewhere and it's like 2,000 meters away or whatever, no music.
Yes.
And I kind of realized it. And then now it's like the only thing that I can focus on. I'm just like, okay, I'm just here in the nature. Where's my
It's vibes. It's
But
just
that's the
vibes.
thing, right? I actually think that that's kind
I
of me personally, listening to a lot of the chatter, like everyone accepts that this is an AC game, and people are like, they like that, and they recognize that it is an improvement on the formula in almost every aspect. The core combat is better. The stealthing is significantly better. You know, like the world design stuff is very similar, but it's very pretty. You know what I mean? Like, so
beautiful game.
Yeah.
there's like a lot of acknowledgement there. And I think, but one of the things, the subtext, I think a lot of that is people just like the vibe of it and they don't mind just kind of going through it. And I think Ubisoft were very deliberate with their choice to like make this quite a quiet game a lot of the time. There really isn't much music. But
when they do use it, it is very impactful.
There's some weird
and the sound
song
design's
choices,
really
though.
good too.
Yeah, totally. I think, I mean, you talked about it yourself, Jake, in one of your videos, where you're like, it's a podcast game. And I absolutely feel that and that's one of the reasons why I don't like it, because I don't want this to be my podcast game. If I play an Assassin's Creed game, it's like lean forward entertainment as opposed to lean back, to use fucking HBO programming jargon. Like I want something that's really.
That's pretty good. Whatever.
No,
that
I mean,
is.
like, you know, there's like they like television places. They say that we're the leader in like lean forward programming, which is like you have to pay attention to it. Like Chernobyl is lean forward, and like Desperate Housewives, Desperate Housewives of whatever is lean back. You know what I mean?
Which is the last lean forward game, Assassin's Creed game, then for you?
I would.
I would say the last one that I really leaned forward for was Black Flag.
Well, look, I would. I mean, I think Black Flag is like unbelievable.
Peak.
Yeah, absolute peak. Personally,
but even then, I barely remember the Animus stuff in that game. I don't remember the Abstergo stuff. Like I was so into
that was the first one where they
that was
did.
The best one.
That was when they did the first person. You are working at Abstergo.
Yeah,
and
you
are
around with your little clipboard.
Yeah, and that was.
I also think, though, I'm looking back more and more fondly on Odyssey, because now, like, that we've had this quadrilogy of games, I personally didn't like Origins. I thought it was just a bit bare. It was kind of just like almost a prototype for what this would eventually become. And I didn't like Valhalla because I'm like, well, this is too excessive. This is not right. But then I definitely look back on my time with Odyssey, which at the time I enjoyed. But now I look back on it with a lot more affection, because I'm just like, you know what? Actually, that was pretty fucking cool. It was bloated. It had like a 25-hour stretch in the middle, which just felt like a massive piss take. But between like the mythology stuff and the like, you know, Abstergo stuff and the, you know, the sea navigation stuff, which I think really, I always really love. I think it had like a sense of humor and an energy to it, which I enjoyed. I look back on that personally as like the strongest game in that quadrilogy at this point. You know, even though I think, what do you call it? Shadows is the most polished mechanically at this point. Odyssey just had something going for it. I think it really did, and I definitely view it differently now post Shadows. So yeah,
interesting.
Is there a reason that when you boot up Shadows, it comes up with like the infinity thing? Why are so many games missing from that?
It's the ones that are available to purchase.
It's
Call of Duty Hub thing, right?
Exactly.
Where those are the games that exist in that UI, and you can't get the others within that system.
Right.
Yeah,
because I would. It would be amazing if like all of them were in there.
Yeah,
because it just feels kind of
they
weird.
Remade the Ezio trilogy, didn't they? Like I loved those games, dude. I love them so much. And like for the record, I'm liking Shadows so far. I'm not disliking it, but I can completely understand if what you're saying is like it gets formulaic and repetitive, that it will lose me, because like at a certain point you can only do the same thing so much. And I am finding the start to be very slow. There are a lot of cutscenes, I think to its detriment. There are probably too many. I think it's really well voice acted. I am playing the Japanese version, but the Japanese seems to be really well voice acted. Like I totally agree. The combat is way better than it's felt to me for ages. The stealth is great. Like it feels like I have actual control in a lot of ways. But like you're saying, if it ends up being a thing where I'm doing the same 5 things over and over and over again, when you've already done that in other video games as well, it's just really hard to
There's just kind of layers to it where it has me for a stretch, and then something will pop up where I'm like, and one of them is I don't understand, what are the Animus what are keys that I'm finding and picking up, and I'm just like,
that's to access at a different storefront to buy shit.
That's
for
right.
Your character
that goes towards your battle pass.
There's a battle pass. Also, I was so mad that it made me log in for a single player game. Are you kidding me?
Well, that's kind of standard these days, unfortunately.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. Not back in my day. That's right. You just put the fucking disc in there. You blow the cartridge. You stick it in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Back in my day, your assassin you could sit on a bench and you could stab a guy
you just
and put him on the
there.
bench. You know.
But no, I like when it does something different. I think there's been a lot of chatter about the tea ceremony is kind of a very like, more of a standout moment, like a really cool way of bringing an investigation together into like I don't know. It was a moment where it just kind of took its time to slow you down, and I really like that. And it felt so different. It stuck out, and then it had me, hey, why don't you go to this castle and
I totally agree.
use your eagle vision? And I'm like,
that happens at the beginning of the game, that tea ceremony quest.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, what the fuck, man? All right, maybe we got something going here. This is really cool. And then that was the only time in the entire game where anything like that happened. You know what I mean? Like it was the one moment where there was some different encounter or scenario design in that main quest to make it really interesting and unique. And it was because it was weaving narrative, it was storytelling plus a gameplay conceit in a really culturally sensitive setting that kind of felt very immersive. And I was just like,
that you had to pay attention to as well.
Yeah, I was really into it. And again, it was the only time in the entire video game where that happened. Unless I missed some side content stuff. I don't know, but certainly in the main quest, that was not the thing.
That's what I meant when I said like how it's afraid to challenge the player or put walls up. I mean in terms of like do things like that or have a mission where like it takes everything away from you or like significantly shakes up. Like I wanted more things like the tea ceremony because that was pretty cool. I also like some of the mini game stuff, like the meditation mini game.
Oh yeah,
I like how they're going for that. Yeah,
and the drawing of the animals I really like.
I'll chop down some bamboo as well. That's fun.
Oh, yeah.
I'm cool with a lot of those little things. I don't know this yet because I feel like I haven't played enough, but the difference in gameplay styles between Yasuke and Norway? How do you pronounce his name? Yeah, does that not give you significant variety? Like in the amount that I've played so far, they feel significantly different in a way that I'm like, oh, these are like two very different combat approaches. Does it not end up feeling like that in the long run?
I think the issue for me was how you get adjusted to playing as Naoe and then the lack of freedoms you have as Yasuke in terms of like you got used to playing the game like an Assassin's Creed game. You're running around, you're climbing, you're doing your thing. Yasuke is only so capable of certain things, but he's really good at combat. And what I did like was him in story moments specifically when they were like, all right, you're switching to him, have fun. That's where it really worked for me because I do like how they kind of went all in on gore and stuff with this one. Like you're chopping heads off constantly and blood sprays on the walls, which is very cool. That was working.
Oh, when they do the black and white and then it's just the shot of red, really impactful.
It's funny when you screw it up though, or like the animation misses, or like your camera's stuck in the wall. Like I love video games for stuff like that, where it's like, look how cool it is, but like almost. But I mean, having said that, one of the great things about this is that it was in better shape than a lot of past Assassin's Creed games.
Oh yeah,
big time.
I found it to be very polished. I played on PS5 Pro. And I thought it looked really damn good.
I'm playing on PC and I am getting a couple crashes here and there, which not like a deal breaker by any means, but
yeah, I had one. I found it very polished. I had like no game breaking bugs or
just the horse. Fix the horse.
The horse is the worst horse in the history of video games. It's like you would literally point it at a specific direction.
It's like Day One Roach, but
and there'll
worse.
be like two posts on the side of a road, and you are walking directly in between these two posts. And the minute you get the horse will just do this. Smash straight into the post. Like every fucking he aims to bump into things. He is the worst handling thing I've ever controlled in a video game. It's like it's almost like one of these Bennett Foddy meme sorts of things. Like this is the horse that Bennett Foddy would design if he wanted to. Oh my god, I hate him so much.
But do you remember like when they announced Breath of the Wild and they did that gameplay thing and they were like, hey, the horse is gonna avoid trees, and we all took the piss because we were like, oh well, of course a horse is gonna avoid trees. What are you talking about? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Ubisoft took
okay.
that same code and turned all the zeros into ones. So now the horse just fucking aims for every tree it can find. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my God.
I think we got spoiled as players. Like, games have become so good that how many games are you sprinting in a field, you whistle, the horse swoops up behind you, you grab the horse at like Legolas in that one part where it's like kind of weird, and then like you just keep going, right?
Darksiders, dude.
Yeah,
you know,
and it
been
works
around for a
and it's
while.
awesome. And then here it doesn't.
The
like at all. Ask Amanda, like my reviewing, like grinding through this game, the amount of times she just hear me go, motherfucking goddamn horse.
The funny thing is like when you're running and you like whistle like, and then the horse, and you're like, come on, man, and then you whistle again. You're still just running in the same direction.
And then you finally turn around, and you're like, what are you doing? What are you?
I had one where I was riding the horse through a like a walled city or a walled settlement, and there was like a beam on the ground, and the horse refused to go over the beam. So I had to get off the horse, walk through, and then I tried to call it, and it just got stuck. So I had to run away for a little bit and then call him in. I was like,
yeah,
we'll talk about this at home, man.
For sure. But look, I think it is interesting to see. It has met a very positive reception. And I think
people are digging it.
and it's selling. Like, it's 3 million players now, and I think it's like a lot of people don't want to hear that it's selling well. The reality is, it is selling well, and like Ubisoft haven't released like sales data, but I personally don't believe that there's that many people subscribed to Ubisoft Plus. Like, sure, some absolutely, but there's no way you're going to convince me that like 2.5 million of those 3 million people are subscribed to Ubisoft subscription service. Like, the vast majority of those have got to be sales. And if they've done, 2.5 million units within the first week, it's their biggest digital launch on PlayStation on day one for any of their franchises, any of their games ever. It's sold very well box retail in the UK. It's their second biggest launch after Valhalla, which obviously had the halo effect of a holiday release, a console launch, making a launch title, plus
and
the
COVID.
pandemic. And this is still doing big numbers. So, I mean, look, again, Jake and I, we don't really like it very much, but whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is, like, a lot of people do like it, and it is actually successful, and there's no reason to suspect that it wouldn't continue selling over time. But I think more than that, like, it's just getting a good reception from people who accept it for what it is. And I think even
my sister is a huge Assassin's Creed fan. She has my PS5 in Australia, so like whenever I'm there, I take it. When I'm not, she has it, and she almost exclusively plays Assassin's Creed. She plays every single Assassin's Creed game, which is crazy because I guess she would like watch me play the Ezio trilogy, and then she started playing them much later. I did make her play God of War Ragnarok, but otherwise it's all Assassin's Creed. And she's really, really enjoying it. She's like, it's great. Like, this is the best one that I played. Like, it's as someone who is just basically The Sims and Assassin's Creed is like all she touches.
Yeah.
She's absolutely loving it. And that's like kind of some of the core audience that I think we can really easily forget.
That's
exists.
so true.
There are people who just play one franchise and don't see anything online and don't
I feel like
deal with the same tiredness we do as like people trying to review things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
I feel like Assassin's Creed to me has the same sort of Call of Duty-esque quality, which is that like it attracts a lot of people who don't play a lot of video games. Like my brother, he hasn't played Assassin's Creed in a long time, but he still remembers very fondly. He doesn't play any video games, one of my brothers. And he still talks very fondly about Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And he still he still ruminates about the possibility of one day playing another video game. And if he did, it would be Tony Hawk. But if it was another one, it would be a new Assassin's Creed game. Like he would be interested in doing that. And I think this franchise has that kind of appeal to non-hardcore gamers. And I think when these people come into contact with a game like this, then they're like, yeah, cool. This is great. You know what I mean? Because they're not like sweating all the details like we do as like reviewers or whatever.
No, she's like, for example, again, so anecdotal, but she's a mom. She has 2 kids.
Wow.
She works full time. So my sister was like, she'll play like 2 hours or an hour a few nights a week. She's not consuming video games the same way that anyone here is. Yeah. And so I think the chip away effect. I think it works really well. You don't mind the repetition because maybe that repetition happened 2 weeks ago. And you're just like, oh, I know how to do this. Like it feels familiar rather than repetitive. I feel like there are so many, because people who are core gamers, like, I don't like saying hardcore gamers, but you know what I mean? Like people who listen to this podcast, like there are 2 different branches, and the way that we look at video games and the way that the casual market looks at video games are quite different.
People.
Yeah, they're just really different, and you can kind of really lose sight of that. Like I always try to remind people that when there was all this controversy around The Last of Us Part 2, it was like most gamers don't know what Naughty Dog is. I know it's really easy to forget when you're in it and you're really in the community and you talk about this stuff and all your friends talk about this stuff and you're like on top of all of the news. But broadly, the people buying The Last of Us Part 2 don't know what a Naughty Dog is. They certainly don't know who Neil Druckmann is. Video games are so much bigger than I think we give them credit for, and Assassin's Creed really feels like it's one of those like core casual games that like people can just pick up and play really casually, and it's the one of the 2 games a year that they play maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, congrats
Also,
to
I
Ubisoft.
feel like the amount of Shogun parallels, surely that's helped.
Yeah.
Oh, you reckon?
Surely. Like, surely at least one person has been like, oh, yeah, that's the same guy.
Really like that Shogun show.
Yeah.
Portuguese.
John Blackman.
You know, my problem is I'm not comparing it to Ghost of Tsushima. I'm comparing it to the underrated GOAT Rise of the Ronin. Okay,
Ooh,
my weird little game.
Okay.
I love it.
Tell me
That's a cool take. I like that take.
Just similar world types. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of joking, but Rise of the Ronin is good.
No, but I mean,
Rise of the Ronin is good if you like weird shit.
Yeah, I personally didn't love it. I only played like 6 hours of it though. It just didn't vibe with me.
I also did not.
And I
But
haven't
you
gone
had
back to
you had like little pals that you could bring back to your little home base or whatever, right?
You did?
In Assassin's
In
Creed, you certainly
Junjiro? Oh no, and Rise of the Ronin. I wanted to talk about Junjiro, and I was trying to think of like some nice segue because I just think he's neat. I love him.
Yeah, but honestly,
I
though,
also like the base building stuff. That's cool too.
Yeah.
I disagree with that in the sense that like, yeah, you can make a pretty little base, but it's like, and again, that's kind of cool, but like that's just so disconnected from the core game. I would love to have seen that more deeply integrated. It's just like,
I don't know. Like I like it, but also because
collect
it reminds me of
The
like
Sims?
Dondoko Island.
right.
No, Dondoko Island and all the stuff, all
completely
the
agree.
random side shit you do in Yakuza.
Yeah,
Where it doesn't
completely
really
agree.
matter, but it is kind of nice, and then you kind of find yourself
It's
doing
like a
it
nice
for
little
life.
thing that's there that you can do, and it's not that complicated. It's nice.
Yes, I get. I fully agree.
I
What
just
I'm
think
saying
it's
is
neat.
no, but what I'm saying is I think it's cool. It's cool to the point where I wish it was actually more integrated into the game because it was
Right.
nice
Yeah.
to see what you can build with this stuff. Like they put a lot of work into it, but
You
it
can
really
make
was
cool
just like
shit.
a little diorama that you just build and then you just have off to the side. Whereas if it was kind of like something different, I think it would be quite.
I put as many dogs as I could. You can actually max out. Like you can put a dog on or like a little animal on all the tiles. Like there's a limit. Like you can't do the entire
Can
tile
you
set
send
of
me
animals.
a screenshot
Yeah,
of
I
your
will.
insane
Yeah,
dog land?
I will.
Put that in the newsletter.
Please do.
That's the second
Wait,
one.
I do that. I will do that.
Yeah.
Please do
Ah.
self.
Yeah, I'll make a note.
Yeah, overall, I'm
Alright.
happy people are enjoying it. And I hope at the very least, like as much as I bagged on it, like looking on the bright side is that the little tiny trickles of Assassin's Creed stuff in the game, like from the old games, I'm hoping that maybe like that piques some people's interest and they want more, and that Ubisoft does take a lesson that, you know, maybe they still do some of that stuff, because I still worry about
Didn't
them
they try that with
running away from
Mirage
it.
though? Wasn't that Mirage's whole marketing tactic?
Made it.
That was like in terms of like it's like the old games. I just mean like all the lore, all the weird stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
All the
Yeah.
you know like not you know
Glyphs
aliens and Abstergo.
The
and,
first civilization.
Yeah,
Bring
yeah,
back
you
people came
goddamn
before.
right.
what was it? Desmond Miles.
Mhm.
The
R.I.P. buddy.
undisputed king. We love him. Just another Nolan North character, because that was the time. Then it was Troy Baker. Now it's Ben Starr. Just have an Assassin's Creed character modern day. It's Ben Starr. It'll just feel like the same. It's good.
Yeah, agreed.
Or
love
Matt
him.
Mercer. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
that's
Matt
true.
Mercer.
One or the other. Yeah.